Hello, everyone, and welcome back to One Jane a Pod. I'm your host, Joan, and today I'm back again with my roommate, Kayla.
Hi.
So, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about icks that we have. It could be in men or just like in general. So, let's just jump right in. Kayla, would you
hmm
like to start?
I would.
Okay.
The first one that comes to my mind, and it's the biggest one, I think.
Okay.
Um, when people tie their shoes bunny eared style.
We literally had this conversation last week, and I was dying.
I don't know what it is, but there's something about when I watch a person tying their shoes and they make the two little loops, the little bunny ears, and tie them together. Like, I just lose all respect. And it's just such a big ick for me. Like I can't even describe to you how much I hate it.
It's so funny because Kayla and my other roommate and I had this conversation like literally last week. And she asked me, she's like, "Do you like tie your shoelaces like with bunny ears?" And I was like, "Ew, no." But then I told them the story about how my ex used to tie my shoes like that. And Kayla and Casey literally lost it. They're like, "Ew, oh my gosh, like that's such an ick." And like I didn't really think that much like deep into it until they brought it up. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that actually is like such an ick." Like I don't know what it is.
Cause I'm just imagining like someone like and I'm like, hey, tie my shoes for me, and they tie them bunny ear style. Like there's just no. And like you can't get your shoelaces tied tight enough when you tie it bunny ear
Yes,
style.
because it comes
And
loose.
it's just wrong. Like that's all I have to say about it is it's just wrong.
No, I agree. I fully agree. Well, for me, I I have a lot, but this isn't like my number one. But like my biggest ick is when guys walk around with like those jug ass like water bottles or whatever drink that they have.
Yep.
Like I don't
Yep.
know why like guys do that, but every time I see it, it's just such an ick. And I'm like, realistically, are you really like drinking that whole thing in one sitting? Because like I don't think so. Like I feel
Right.
they use that as like an accessory. Like you know how girls like use handbags to like
Right.
pretty. Like I feel like guys use those like gallon jugs of water as like an accessory, and it just makes me like cringe.
It makes me so mad because
Like
I know there's no way that they're drinking all that water.
yes. Like I don't know why. And like there's this kid in one of my classes and he comes to class like every other day with like a Wawa like gallon jug of like iced tea or like lemonade. And like I see him taking like two sips of it throughout the whole class period and the class is like an hour and 30 minutes. And I'm like this is what I mean. Like you're not even drinking all of it. So like why are you just like carrying that around? And it's
Yeah,
also a hassle to be carrying that around everywhere. Like you can't even like shove it in your bag.
right. Like that's when you just get like the smaller like things of tea and you carry those around and you drink one of those, or you carry a water bottle and fill it up like a normal person
Yeah.
instead of carrying around a whole like gallon
Yes.
or like big jug of water. Like I understand that some people want to measure how much water they're drinking, but like you can just count how many water bottles you drink. You don't need to carry
Yeah.
around a gallon of water to know how much water you've had.
Yep. I agree. I fully agree.
So the next one on my list, I know Joan, you agree with me on this. Guys who have tinted windows on their cars.
Yes. Yes.
I I
Yes.
don't really know any girls that have tinted windows, and I can't really say if that would like bother me or not. But when guys have tinted windows on their car, I don't know why. Like it's just like what are you trying to do? What are
Yeah.
you trying to do? Do you think that you're cool because you have tinted windows? Like I it's one thing it's one thing if you get the car and it has tinted windows
Hmm.
and that's like the style of the car, or you bought it used and they had tinted windows, whatever, like that doesn't bother me. But when you go out of your way to get your windows tinted,
Yes.
that bothers me. Like I what's the point? What is the point? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Why are you trying to be so like secretive? Like what is that about?
Yeah, like what are you doing in your car that you need tinted windows for?
Like
Question mark.
no, literally like question mark. I don't understand.
Yeah, and like my ex just recently got his windows tinted on his truck, and I like that was such like an ick for me when he told me that he was getting his windows tinted. I was like, "Ew, why? Why
Yeah,
do you need tinted windows?"
I
So I just can't stand it. I hate it.
no, literally, I hate it. Like, oh my gosh. But for me, ooh, this is hard. But I don't know if like you know what I'm talking about, but like when people like hold their spoon with like a tight grip. Like like I'm trying to like explain this without like trying to visually like show you, but like you know how like when you hold a spoon, like there's just like a certain way to hold it, but like
Right.
people who just like grip onto it and like eat their food.
Are you talking about when they like grab it with their whole fist instead of
Yes,
like between their
yes.
fingers? Okay, then yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is so icky to me. Like I don't know why. Like my just like whole body just like shrivels up, and I'm just like, ew. Like what? Like why? Just
Because
why?
that's how a toddler holds their fork or their spoon. Like they fully grip it and then eat their like
Yes.
people that still eat that way, like grow up. Learn
Like
how to hold your silverware.
everything.
Grow up.
Like I just oh my gosh. Like the thought of that right now is just making me so sick to my stomach.
I'm thinking about my cousin because my cousin is about to turn 23 years old and he still holds his fork and spoon that way with
Shut
like the tight
up.
grip. Yep, and every time we go out to eat, I'm like embarrassed to be seen with him cuz
Yes.
he's holding his stuff like a toddler would. And I'm like, "Dude, did your mother never teach? I know your mother taught you how to hold your silverware properly. What are you doing?"
Like if I ever go on a first date with a man and he holds his silverware like that, I'm genuinely getting up and leaving. Like I
Just
cannot.
done.
Like I will strictly get up and leave. Like I cannot sit there and just like handle like watching that firsthand.
Yeah, and I'd be so embarrassed to be like, "Yep, I'm with him." Like, no, I'm leaving. I'm
Yes.
leaving.
Oh
Oh
my
my god. Um, I think you'll agree with me on this next one. When guys don't know the difference between your
oh
and
my god.
there, and there. Like
Yes.
when we don't know the difference between like your like possession wise and you are, and then just all the different forms of their, like
Yes.
it drives me nuts when like I'm texting someone and like they're using the wrong word, and
Yes.
I have to hold back the urge to correct them and be like, "You idiot. Like, no. Didn't you pay attention at all in any English class ever?
Yep.
That is not the correct use of that word. Like,
I
do you know what you're saying right now?"
like that is just so embarrassing. Like
It's
so embarrassing.
it's icky. It is icky.
I I fully agree with you on that. And I have experienced that firsthand from a guy. And
Mhm.
I genuinely was like, "Oh my gosh, like I don't know if I can continue this conversation because I'm just so grossed out." Like it was so icky.
Like, are you illiterate? I don't understand.
Exactly, exactly. Oh my god. Ew. I'm just like thinking about that. I'm like so grossed out. Next one for me was I definitely say when guys use like having ADHD as like an excuse for everything. Like
Right,
my ex, like yes, he did have ADHD, but like he would just like do things and then he'd be like, "Oh, it's because of my ADHD." And I'm like, "This has nothing to do with you having ADHD."
right.
Like it I don't know why that's so icky to me. Like, yeah, it's fine that you have ADHD. Like I understand you can't control that, but the way he was like trying to like cover up his like stupidity with like having ADHD just was so icky.
Yep.
Like I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Like, I sit here and I'm like, I have anxiety and depression, but I'm not sitting here like, oh, well, I'm acting like a bitch because I have anxiety and depression. Like,
Yes.
no, that's
Yeah.
not how that works.
And I'm like, you can just say that you're stupid. Like you don't have to blame D on that. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like confused. Just
Yeah, make it make sense.
yeah, make it make sense. I don't know. Like that was really icky for me.
I do agree with that though. I do agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um my next one is when guys use going to the gym as their entire personality.
No, no. Stop it right there.
But am I wrong? Like I'm not
You're
wrong.
not wrong.
Like
I
a guy who's like, "Oh, I'm such a gym rat," and like they talk about like their gains and how much they can bench and how much they can squat and like
yes.
I've like seen people with like social media profiles where all it is just like their gym stats. And I'm
Yes.
like, is there literally nothing more to you other than the fact that you can go pick up heavy things and put them down? Like, I
Yes.
just don't understand. I
Like
don't understand. Like, are you just a saltine cracker who just goes to the gym and that's it? Like, that's all you do?
no, literally. Like I've talked to a guy before and he was a gym rat. Like like that was his whole personality. Like that's all he talked about and like we are just like driving in his car and he was like, "Oh, like you want to hear my PR song?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "PR." And I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Personal record." And I was like, "Oh, like yeah." And like he played this like really like strong rap song and he's like, "Yeah, like I can squat to this so hard. Like bro, like this goes so hard." And I was so grossed out. I was like, I
Oh
need to
my
get out of
God.
the car right now. Like, get me
I,
out of the car now.
I would have jumped out while the car was still moving,
Like,
to
I
be
was,
honest.
oh my gosh. Like, he was like literally talking about his PR for like 30 minutes and like showing me his like gym playlist. And I'm like, when did I ask? Like, when and where did I ask?
I cannot find where I care about this.
Yes, like I'm like, oh my gosh, like good for you that like you go to the gym and like you care about your physical health, but like I genuinely like don't care. Like good for you,
Like,
honestly.
it's one thing if you care about your physical health and, like, you say, like, oh, yeah, I like to go to the gym and I like to eat healthy and I do all these other things. But then, like, actually have some hobbies, have some, like, interesting things about you. Don't just sit there and try to tell me that, like, going to the gym is your entire personality because that's boring and nobody cares.
Yeah, no, literally. Oh my god. The thought of that is like so triggering. God. All right, I have one more that I could think of on the top of my head. That's when guys wear like flip-flops or like freaking like sandals, but like the sandals they're wearing socks with them.
Oh my
Like
God.
high socks.
Yep.
And I oh my god, I was telling this to Kayla like the other like week or whatever. I was like walking back home from class and I saw this man and he was wearing those like sandals, those like Jesus looking like gladiator sandals with high socks and it was like 45 degrees outside and I was so icked out. I was like,
Ew.
"My gosh." Like and he was wearing like cargo shorts.
Oh my God.
Like, ew. And like guys with flip flops, like that's a whole nother story.
I saw someone when I was at work yesterday. I saw someone come in and they were wearing flip flops with socks.
Ew.
And it made my skin crawl. It made my skin crawl.
Ew. Oh my
Like
gosh.
that's wrong on like a whole nother level.
Like so many levels.
It's so bad. Oh God. I'm like getting the chills just picturing that.
I feel like it should be illegal for men to be wearing flip flops. Like, put those dogs away.
Put them away.
Stick to sneakers. Like, please. Like, do not wear flip flops. Like, I'm sorry. It's just
No,
not
for real.
the male species. Like, they are not allowed to wear flip flops.
They
Like,
are banned. Men can no longer wear flip flops.
like point blank, period.
I no, I fully agree with you on
Ew.
that one.
Oh my goodness.
And like an ick that kind of goes along with that is when guys don't know how to match their pants with their shirts.
Stop.
Because some guys really just roll out in the world, out in public, with not matching clothes.
Yes.
And I'm like, who let you out of the house looking like that?
Yes.
Like, I know your mother did not raise you to wear mismatched
And they're
clothes.
so confident too. Like
I
that's the
know.
like they're like, "Oh yeah, like I woke up and like I thought this outfit was so cool. Like I thought it looked so good." And I'm just like, "Right."
They really walk around with the audacity, thinking that their fit is fire, and I'm like, that is the most atrocious thing I've ever laid eyes on.
Yes.
Please make it go away.
And they like post like a mirror selfie. They're like fit of the day or like fit goes hard. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like who's gonna tell him? Who's
Yeah.
gonna tell him?
Like, how did his mirror not crack? Like, I don't understand.
No, literally, like I just get secondhand embarrassment from that. Like
No,
I
so do
genuinely
I.
don't understand. Like
So do I.
I feel like men need like how to dress 101 classes. Like
They
that's
do.
how embarrassing and like bad it is.
No flip flops and wear matching clothes. That's
Yeah,
all I've got to say.
yes, point
Like,
blank.
point blank, period.
If you want to learn anything from this episode, it's that men can't
It's
wear flip
that.
flops and men should be wearing pants that match their shirt.
Exactly. And
So,
that is the education for the day.
yes, period. We can literally go on and on about this. Like we were talking about this
Oh,
earlier,
we
like
could.
like I have a whole list. Like this podcast episode is gonna be about like 40 minutes long if we just like keep going. And I fully agree because I can just come up with things like right off the bat. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm going to have to conclude this episode as sad as it is.
Mm.
But Kayla, thank you for joining me again.
Of course. I'm
I
always happy to be a part of these.
I love it. Thank you so much. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week with another one. Bye.
Bye.